What's going on, everybody? This is Brad, and we're here today to do something I haven't done in a while, and that is we're going to build a platform fighting game roster. I did this with Multiverses with a couple of, wishful characters that I had hoped would make it into the game. I think one or two actually did make it in, so maybe this will be fun. Now, we have no idea if a Disney platform fighting game is in the works or not. I thought that it might be based on a rumor that was going around that a company with a lot of very valuable IPs would be making a game, but we haven't seen that yet from Disney. We did see them do a little bit of a fun Easter egg sort of deal with some art that looked like a platform fighting game in the Rescue Rangers movie, I think it was. But who knows? Anyway, I said I wanted to do this a while back, and I just haven't done it, so why not? So, I think if you're going to build a Disney platform fighting game, you got to have your character that represents the brand as a whole. For Nintendo, that's Mario. For Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, that's SpongeBob. For Disney, you can't go with anybody other than Mickey. Mickey is Disney. You can't think Disney without thinking Mickey. You can't think Mickey without thinking Disney. Mickey Mouse, probably the most iconic fictional character of all time. Maybe one of the most important, if not the most important fictional characters of all time. And I put him here. This is his Disney Infinity model. And it's in his Sorcerer Mickey outfit, which is perfect for battle, in my opinion. You know, the hat of the Sorcerer it gives him all this power. It could be a fun little gimmick, though, if you were to put him in a fighting game and have his magic be a little bit too strong for him. Maybe if you overuse it, it starts to backfire on you. But if not, just let him be Magic Mickey. That's fine. Now, in a fighting game, this could just be a Mickey skin, and you could have him do a bunch of different stuff, or you could do go the Dr. Mario route and have it be a completely separate character with his moveset a little bit different. Maybe more like the Link style. How there was a big difference between, say, Breath of the Wild Link in Smash Ultimate, Young Link, and then Toon Link. So 3 different Links, they all, while similar, still play pretty different. So you could do that. But yeah, you couldn't have a Disney platform fighting game without the mouse himself. Now, second up, we're going to do, since we're doing 10 characters, second up, platform fighting game, a character that Disney owns. I mean, this is just, makes perfect sense. You'd have to put Sora in there. Sora's already in Smash Brothers. The most requested character for that game. And if Disney was going to do their own, I couldn't imagine them not putting in a character that they at least partially own into the game. Why would you do that? Why would you, if you were going to do your own Smash, not put in a character that was the most requested version of the most popular platform fighter that was around at the time? It still is. I don't think Nick Brawl and Multiverses have yet reached Smash levels of quality yet. But, yeah, Sora should be in there. And, of course, I'm not, I wouldn't want to have Sora be the only rep in the game since Disney owns this thing. And, of course, if Disney was doing it, I would want the roster to be massive. So you could put in, say, Sora and, you could put in Riku and Kairi, a few of the organization members. Throw Donald and Goofy in there, too. It would be fun. Depending on how many players you can have in the game, you could have Sora team up with Goofy and Donald in this if you could do 6 players. I don't know, it's Smash the only one that has up to 8 players. Multiverses and Nick Brawl, I think, only go up to 4. So Disney would have to be a little bit more. I want to give you a little bit more in that regard. But anyway, Sora would definitely have to be on this roster. Who's number 3? Well, we're going to go into the Marvel universe for this one. You have to put in the Golden Boy of Marvel, Captain America. And there's plenty of other characters, again, like, I feel like Captain America is to Marvel what Superman is in terms of, like, the moral values. Although Spider-Man could be a good substitute here. Then again, I couldn't imagine a Disney game, fighting game where you had Cap and not Spider-Man as well. Plus, if it was up to me, I'd put in just about anybody who's ever been in a Marvel vs. Capcom game into a platform fighter. So, Cap kind of here is just sort of representing Marvel as a whole. And funny enough, going back to Disney Infinity, where we were talking about Mickey, Disney Infinity is the only game I can think of that exists that allows you to play as Disney as characters from any sort of studio that Disney actually owns. There are your classic Disney original characters in there, like Mickey, and I think Donald and Goofy were also in there. You've got the famous Disney adaptation films represented in there with like Aladdin and Baloo the Bear, I think was even there. So from the Jungle Book. So those are characters that have become iconic because of their Disney incarnations, but Disney did not create those characters. There are Pixar characters in there, Marvel characters in there, and Star Wars characters are in that in Disney Infinity. So a whole lot of Disney in that one game, and now that game is dead. So here's an opportunity to do this epic level crossover that you've only done one other time before. Not even Kingdom Hearts has stepped into the Marvel or Star Wars realm yet. So there you go. Nice opportunity there to do that. Up next, speaking of Star Wars, I think there are plenty of Star Wars characters you could add to this game. I'm going to let the Star Wars rep for this game be Yoda. And I think it would be kind of a funny matchup if you had a game where you could have Yoda fight Mickey. Just these two short guys where you have one Yoda, of course, this combat master, and Mickey wielding like the most powerful supposed magic force in the universe. It would be really fun. But you could also put in characters like Darth Vader, any of the Jedi, a whole slew of the villains there. What about Grievous? There's like a character with 4 arms, 4 blades. That would be an interesting character. Or Darth Maul. Of course, Vader. Vader and Luke Skywalker probably the top 2 right there, other than that. But I thought Yoda would be a fun rep to have for Star Wars overall. But now we're going to shift gears a little bit because I don't really know how the ownership of this next character and this show works for Disney. I know Disney funds it. So money from Disney goes into the production of this show, but I don't know how much they own of it. And I think, considering they're running it now when they weren't before, Nickelodeon was running it. But if Disney really is funding the show, you'd have to put in some Ladybug characters. There's a whole nother show here, a whole nother group of superheroes and supervillains you could add to this game. I mean, imagine you're playing as Cat Noir and Ladybug against, say, Hulk and She-Hulk. That could be something. Against Hawkmoth or all these other, which I very, very, very loosely follow the show. I know a little bit about it. Like, I couldn't tell you what each form or the miraculous or whatever I couldn't tell you all their powers and all. But I know it's pretty popular. It had a kind of a wonky looking game come out recently. But if Disney owns this character partially, yeah, I say put in the characters. At least put in Ladybug and Cat Noir. That way you could have a tag team match where you have 2 people can play as them against 2 other people. And then if you had Mickey and Minnie in there, you could do that. I mean, a lot of tag team stuff you could do in that regard. I like the idea of taking 2 teams from different franchises and stick them against each other like that. But yeah, put Ladybug in there. Now, the next character is a bit of a throwback, and I think could be pretty cool as a representative for the Disney Afternoon era of Disney's animation. Throw in Big Goliath from Gargoyles, a big powerhouse. I brought up Hulk earlier. Imagine a game where you can have Goliath, who's massive and big, versus the Hulk, who's just like straight anger. Like, Goliath, from what I remember of this show, while very imposing and clearly very powerful, was sort of reserved. Like, he was sort of a noble figure. Like he was the leader of the gargoyles, and like it would be a fun little contrast there, where Goliath is more seems like a more quiet, like I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but like the contrast between a character like this, who is this big beastly character, versus the Hulk, but their personalities are very different. Now, you can, now you wouldn't know, like Goliath's got a pretty crazy wake up growl when he when night falls and he comes back to life from being stoned. It's just this big growl, but how would he fare against the Hulk? When Hulk is just anger personified, like that would be, you know, that would be an interesting, fun fight. And of course, like I would like for all these characters, or as much as possible, to for them to actually be able to interact with each other, like the limited way that they do in multiverses, where depending on who you pick, a character may have a particular line to say about somebody else. So that would be interesting if you could pull it off. So next we've got Pixar's rep, and you could do several of these. But I think this one would be fun because he's not alive, depending on how you look at it. Buzz Lightyear, the Toy Story rep. Like, he's an action figure. Okay. But he can move, and he's got some moves. I think it would be fun to, what if you could take his arm off and throw it or something like that? His up smash would be like his save move. Would have him like go up, and then he glides down. Like, it's like Minecraft Steve's from Smash, where he flies up for a little bit and then sort of glides, because he can't fly, but he can fall with style. Like, that would be an interesting idea. But you could also base Buzz off of his old TV show, because Disney did make a Buzz Lightyear. I can't remember what the show was called. It was like Buzz Lightyear and the Star Commanders or Star Rangers or something like that, where it was supposed to be like the show. I think this was supposed to be like a cartoon that maybe was the in-universe well, no. That's what the Buzz Lightyear movie is about. Never mind. I think they just took this idea of Buzz Lightyear and just turned it into a little show. It may have had the same inspiration. Like the idea, we're going to take Buzz Lightyear's, he's a fictional character even within his even within Toy Story. It's just a movie. The Lightyear movie is the movie Andy saw that made him a Buzz Lightyear fan to get the action figure. I think that the show was basically supposed to be the same thing. I'll have to look into that. But either way, I think I remember the show being pretty decent. I haven't seen it in a while. Maybe it's on Disney Plus, maybe it's not. But anyway, yeah. Again, taking all these different things that Disney has bought over the years with Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, like, you have the opportunity to mix these and make something cool. Might as well do it. Now, this one's a much more recent addition, but I kind of have a personal reason as to why I would like to see her in there. And this is Anne Boonchuy, I think is how you say her name. I haven't seen enough of Amphibia to really to have heard her last name pronounced, but I watched that clip. I think they say her pronounce name is Boonchuy, I think. Anyway, why do I want her in the game? Because of this Super Saiyan Blue-like form she can take, where she basically just gains superpowers. Like, it's I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I think there may have been at least partial inspiration from the Super Saiyan Blue form for this design. I could be wrong. I thought I read that somewhere. Even so, I think the fandom has kind of adopted that as sort of like a little gag, that's saying that this is her Super Saiyan form. And it is a very similar shade of blue to Goku's. I mean, at least sometimes. Sometimes Super Saiyan Blue looks kind of greenish. But anyway, for a rep for a more modern Disney cartoon, you could go with Anne. Maybe Star Butterfly from Star versus the Forces of Evil. That one's ended. This one ended recently. You could possibly also dip into the Owl House if you wanted for something. At least that's not over yet, as far as I'm aware. I think it's ending soon, but I think modern Disney needs some representation too. And this one's a little more of a throwback. I'm not sure what era you would call this, as this is not the modern era. This next character is not from the modern era, but it's not from the Disney Afternoon era either. At least I wouldn't classify this character as Disney Afternoon. But Kim Possible. It seems to be a show that everybody seems to remember fondly. And there's a good deal of characters. I wouldn't say a good deal, but there's several characters from this you could put in there besides Kim herself. Ron maybe could be a fun, goofy character. Maybe you could do some moves with Rufus's naked mole rat. But at the very least, you could put Shigo in there. She actually has powers. So even if you just got Kim and Shigo in there, that could be a fun little tag team. Because I think there were some times in that show where Kim and Shigo weren't actually fighting against each other. They may have had like a temporary truce. But it's been so long since I've seen that show. Or maybe they just had I think maybe their deal was they had at least a little bit of respect for one another. I'm not sure. But anyway, regardless of the characters' personal feelings towards each other, you could put them both in that game. I think people would be pretty happy. And we've got one more character today to round out our 10 characters for this hypothetical Disney fighting game. And it's from a series that Disney has completely embraced the same way they did when they brought in Star Wars and Marvel. And this is the same logic that I've used as to why this next character could potentially end up in Fortnite like a lot of those Star Wars and Marvel characters already have. I think it would be really funny to see Homer Simpson in there. Disney owns The Simpsons now. There are now official animations of like Lisa Simpson hanging out with various Disney characters. And it's done in ways to like it long gone are the days where Bart would make fun of how evil Disney was as a corporation for buying everything and controlling everything and to some degree stifling creative works. Because like remember, it wasn't that long ago Disney was trying to basically assert ownership of the characters from the Thor and Loki, even non Marvel versions of them, which is kind of wild because those Thor and Loki do not originate in the Marvel comics. They are like literal like mythology. They're mythological characters and beings that have existed forever. And just because Marvel has a particular take on them doesn't mean that Disney can assert ownership of them. It's kind of like public domain. If it may be public domain, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think you can really own a mythological character in the first place. So it's kind of public domain, but not really, because I don't think creative law covers mythological characters unless you have make your own particular version of, then that's yours. But Disney can't shut down God of War Ragnarok for having Thor, because they're two very different versions of this concept. But anyway, yeah, the Simpsons are now just another part of the Disney conglomerate. But I think it would be funny, if Disney is not afraid to animate a scene of Homer Simpson drinking a beer with Goofy, and it's Goofy. It's not. I don't think it was Bill Farmer voicing him, but it was Goofy, and this was a Disney-produced animation. So you have Homer Simpson in a bar with Goofy getting drunk. Well, then you can have him in a platform fighting game. I'm surprised we haven't heard tale yet that they're gonna put the Simpsons in the Disney parks. That would make a lot more sense for say the Disney Disney Studios theme park down there in Florida or wherever else you want to do that, where you focus on the media over the years that Disney has produced, or in this case, bought. But yeah, I think Homer would be fun to see in there, kicking around Yoda. Put Krusty the Clown in there too. There's a couple of different characters. You put Bart himself. Let him start hitting people with chairs like that meme. You could have him have a skateboard as a move. I don't know what all you could do with Homer. Throw donuts at people, projectiles. I don't know. But yeah, there you go. 10 characters for a Disney platform fighting game. Video was a little bit longer than I had wanted it to be, but I rambled a bit. But what do you guys think? Do you think a Disney platform fighting game could be good? What characters would you want to see in a game like that? Were some of these characters ones that you would want to see? What do you think about a game where you could have the miraculous Ladybug fight Homer Simpson, or the Hulk, or Darth Vader, or Mickey Mouse? Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe. Go check out all my other videos if you would. And I appreciate you watching. Maybe I'll do another one of these and we'll do 10 more characters who should be in a Disney platform fighting game. But I already threw out a couple of different ideas. Anyway, appreciate you watching. We'll see you later.